I want you to think of your DNA as a library full of cookbooks. And each of your genes is a cookbook with a different recipe and all the different ingredients and proteins that you need for the recipe. When you want to make a dish, you normally find a recipe book and you get the ingredients to make that recipe. That's called gene expression, is reading the ingredients for that recipe. But you know how in some recipes you end up adding ingredients to make it better, use sticky notes, not to use this, not to do that, maybe to add the protein in a little bit longer. These notes that you're making, that would be the epigenetic changes. So the recipe is still the same. There are just these certain notes and highlights that say, hey, this is what you should do for this specific recipe. And then there are times where there are certain pages within the recipe book that are stuck together and glued together and you can't read them. That is also considered an epigenetic change, where your genes can be turned on and off. Your DNA sequence stays the same, but that gene doesn't activate the way it used to because of some changes that may have occurred in your life. Now you're skipping this recipe entirely because it's too problematic to make. But that's just a perfect example of how epigenetics works. Now imagine inheriting this cookbook from your mother or your grandmother, and it's their sticky notes that are in the book, not yours. Yet you're still following this recipe based off of their notes. That would be an example of generational trauma. It's one of the reasons why I keep emphasizing this book right here to get and read it, because it explains epigenetics, generational trauma, and just how much it really does affect you, even if they're not your experiences. But things like meditation, yoga, going to therapy, really understanding the trauma that lives within your body can help reverse some of these epigenetic changes. Do your research, especially if you're a parent. It's really the only way that you can stop generational trauma from happening.